Thanks for tuning in. This is FatFest, presented by AML Media. Hosted by Gene and Stephen Labordi.
Hello, everybody listening in. Welcome to another fun episode of FatFest, where we talk food, all food, anything food, and nothing but not food related here. I am Gene Labordi. That's Stephen Labordi. And Rachel doing all the other stuff besides being the talent of the show. But she has the hardest job, so I wouldn't trade places. Once again, this is FatFest. Today, it's a Sunday. Eagles won. Pulled out a close one there. That's for another episode. But Sunday, I always home-cooked meal, right? I think in almost all walks of life. I mean, definitely, the Italians and things like that. But Sunday in America, I think, and all around the world, Sundays are for home-cooked meals. So today, we are going to talk, and I'd be interested to see, because we grew up in the same house, but I think we might have different ideas of this. What is food that you would rather have home-cooked? And you get to pick who cooks it, if it was mom's or someone you knew, as opposed to a restaurant or eating out or ordering out and things like that. I'll jump off just to get the ball rolling here. And I think a lot of people, because we never go to fancy, super fancy places, but I'm going to start off by saying I can cook myself a steak better than I can get out.
Okay.
Not only is it by the price point of what you're getting. I've never been to one of those, a Michelin star where, you get half an ounce of meat that's, $78 or anything. But nothing wrong with just getting a Delmonico steak. And, all growing up, I'd always preferred on the grill. But Gordon Ramsay has it right. And actually, Rachel has gotten very good at it. A cast iron skillet steak, you can get perfect tender and really get it to any level you want. If you want it crispy, if you want it rare. Sometimes she even gets fancy. We'll get fancy and put a little au jus sauce in there with some mushrooms. And then it's simple, a simple side of just asparagus and rice. Asparagus, baked potato. You can't go wrong. And I don't think a restaurant can do a baked potato better than just, any normal microwave or air fryer can do.
Yeah, okay.
So, I'm going to start off with the steak there. Probably people are like, I think there's a lot of people out there that didn't grow up the way maybe we did, where it was always a meat side and stuff. But,
no, I mean, if you cook a steak, you can cook it to your liking.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. And you get to pick the cut every time.
And there's a little pride in it, too, a little bit. I think sometimes with the home cook, if you're cooking for yourself, sometimes you feel good cooking for yourself.
We've never been to a fancy-ass steakhouse, so it's easy to say, but it's a sure bet if you're making your own steak.
The only thing I couldn't, just because you have to do it in large, is the, what's the really fatty steak? A porterhouse, I think it is.
That's the one that's usually really big.
Yeah, I think it's the porter. I could be wrong, but that's the only one, because you have to do it in like a big thing and then cut it and stuff. But yeah, Delmonico and the prices of meat, I'm not even. Sometimes I'll do a filet if I'm really, down on my luck and need to feel good about myself. But, price of fucking food these days, the Delmonico is going to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with this one. Like, what is something that I would rather have home cooked that wouldn't be good at a restaurant? It's tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, because you have the whole world of restaurants and things, but I'll give you one that I think. Mom's split pea soup.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a comfort food, and I love it. But if a restaurant had pea soup on it, it would be banging.
It is. It's just, what version of it are you going to get? Because, I could see a restaurant trying to fancy it up, maybe. You know what I mean? Go a little, or put a seasoning in there that, to try and just make it different a little bit. And we like it where it's really like thick and creamy with those fucking the leftover chunks of ham in there.
It's not creamy. It's just a ton of peas.
It is filling, but that I think goes into it as well, as you know what you're expecting, you know, like.
Yeah, and that's definitely like a comfort dish for me. In the same vein, chicken corn chowder.
Mm-hmm.
Home run. Every time. Again, I'm sure it's good at a restaurant, but my mom's chicken corn chowder, I mean, it's excellent.
I'll put it up there too. Well, this is kind of I'm half in, half out on this because there's some places. A burger. I can do a burger that is good because to me, like, unless you're doing like one of those places that are like burgatory where all they do is burgers, where like but it ends up being like a $30 burger. I don't need all that to fulfill my one on it, because even if I wanted to make my own burger patties, which normally just the frozen's good enough, that is I'm getting an A on it in both getting it like at a restaurant and making my own.
I don't know, man. I vehemently disagree with you on this one.
That's why I'm saying half and half. I just
a delicious, like, just a diner burger up and to a fancy burger, like, that's one of the things you can always get at a restaurant and you know you're going to like it.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm kind of like half and half, because at home, I'm scratching that need perfectly. I'm not left wanting, being like, man, I wish I'd...
Will you officially put the I'd rather have it home cooked stamp on it?
No, you're right.
You can't.
You're right, I can't.
Burgers are awesome in a restaurant, and then, you know, they got all kinds of fancy ones, like a black and blue burger.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They got all the weird ingredients, pickled onions.
I'll say this. Making my own turkey burgers, which I don't think I would even order one out, but I got a turkey burger recipe down that I've messed around with a little bit that I would put up with any restaurant, I think, if restaurants even do turkey burgers.
Yeah, I can honestly say I've never had a restaurant turkey burger.
I got a couple things right off the... Mom's potato salad. And I've tried it. I always mess up. I can't get the consistency of the potatoes right. And that goes along with macaroni salad, because everywhere I try and get it, and I've got it from, you know, the deli counters, I've gotten it from pre-made companies, sides at diners, everything. It's always either it has like relish in it and it's too sweet. I like the salty, almost vinegariness of it. I would much rather make my own macaroni salad and coleslaw for that matter as well.
Yeah, those are three items that I could care less about, so I'm going to agree with you on that one. Baked potato, by the way, I'd rather make my own baked potato.
Yeah. Well, also then...
Because I don't want to have to ask for an obscene amount.
I was going to say the sour cream is where
it's
it comes.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not going to use all of it, but just in case, also more butter and sour cream. Just triple up on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one place that I would put up with my chicken salad, that I would go toe-to-toe with chicken salad.
That's a good one. Homemade chicken salad, that the extra attention is paid.
And I took that Dad's chicken salad directly, his recipe, pretty much. And the only place out there that I could compare would be Dorm's Deli. And I think
it's not as good.
It's not as good. It's just a lot, and they got good bread to put it on. But
right,
chicken salad, egg salad for that matter, because as much as I'm not like picky about
would
things,
never get egg salad at a restaurant ever. I'd be so mad if that was on the menu. Even
that's
like if we went to Friendly's and you got an egg salad sandwich, I'd be like, dude, are you kidding me right now?
I'll tell you what, man. Eggs for breakfast and egg salads. If I'm out at a diner and they have egg salad with bacon on it, sandwich like a club, I might get that. So don't be surprised if we're out one day.
Hey, man, I mean, I guess people who like egg salad love egg salad.
But what I'm going to be doing for sure, which I do I'm scouting shit, especially at a place like a diner where they got a lot of everything. I really am checking tables to see
what people
are getting, how it's prepared.
That's something I need to establish up here, is a good diner that I trust on most every item on the menu, like a Golden Eagle at home.
When you find one, you let me know. I got a good breakfast place for you.
What's O'Malley's or whatever?
Oh yeah, Kellyo's.
Kello's.
As
We
call
gotta
it.
go back to the one diner we found.
Oh
that we really
yeah,
liked.
that was cash only. That was pretty good. They call you Sweetheart too. I like that. That's right.
Cash only. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good sign.
And I think it was one of the soups I got was fucking banging. But yeah, it was a little place and like definitely like the owner just hangs out in the corner. You can and is keeping his eye
Just
on
yelling
everything.
at his workers in a different language. That's what I'm looking for.
Uh,
I have one that it might surprise you, but if I'm doing a soft taco spread, I want to do it. I want to home make it because I want all the fixings I like. I like to overstuff the shit out of my tacos. Fresh, for everything's fresh, cut up right in front of me, and I don't know. Like when I go to a Mexican joint, I never get like. I always get something fancier.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I was gonna say I'd take it a step further. I'd never even order hard shell tacos. The only time I eat a hard shell taco is at
hard
home.
and soft
And-
shell, just a taco spread.
Mhm.
I want to do it myself, or I want to be part of the whole process. Likewise, especially when my mom used to make them for me.
Enchiladas.
No, I probably want a restaurant enchilada.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that I know the
love
Emilios.
you, Mom, but
They got the cheese,
yeah.
the special cheese sauces and shit.
Nothing satisfied my soul like having Mom make me eggs.
Yeah, I was gonna say breakfast. A lot of the breakfast foods.
You can make at home.
Yeah, just as good because you want it piping hot, which you get if you sit down at a place. But especially with eggs too, like that's just there's a connection in my mind where like I want to see the egg get cracked and make sure.
I just want it made with real love.
When she used to just do the BLTs, just make a shit ton of bacon.
Or she would make that big egg casserole, which was like heavy.
Yeah,
But it was good. But that's the first thing that jumped in my mind.
I
for
got one.
Homemade stuff.
And I've tried at places. Cheesecake Factory's got a close one, but meatloaf.
That is really close.
The Cheesecake Factory didn't put the bacon on top and let that fat
You're
melt
right.
through.
You're right. It's close though.
Yeah, no, it's good. And also it's coming with, it's got the sides.
I think the homemade aspect of it gets a better argument because of the sides. When Mom's making the sides or you're picking the sides, you know exactly how to hit home run next to a meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have something good with their meatloaf.
They usually do just corn and mashed potatoes.
Well, let's try to not use Cheesecake Factory as an
that's the
example.
only close. That's why I was saying, but
'Cause
it's not. But
Anywhere else, I'm not touching the meatloaf.
and you get the added bonus, what we said probably a couple episodes now, the leftover meatloaf sandwich the next day.
Hells yeah. Yeah, that. Although, if I ran a diner, I would have meatloaf sandwich on the menu.
And once again, it's one of those things. I guess people like it, and but every time I've tried to go out and get it somewhere, and Rachel's even tried to make it for me on a recipe. Too sweet. They use like barbecue sauces and shit that make. I don't want a sweet meat.
No, I hear you.
I want that salty goodness.
I want the homemade version.
Yeah, and if you want to pop a couple raisins in there.
Yeah, that doesn't make it sweet though, but yeah, that's probably the best example.
Got a simple one.
What's that?
Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
I was thinking that grilled soup with the white rice in the tomato soup too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Pop a little bit in there. You don't have to, but
on a snowy day.
because the best I've gone out and spent a lot of money on cheeses to try and be like, I'm gonna make a banging the Kraft single,
You want the mom's homemade.
and the Kraft single
Yes.
cheese is the best for grilled
Well,
cheese.
I'll push back on a little bit because just like deli cheese, if it's American, it's still gonna be really, really good.
True.
Or even but yeah, the classic orange cheddar of some sort. Yeah.
Now, what bread are you putting on there?
Rye.
Rye?
I mean, I'll do white bread. You can't fuck up. So that's the thing about the grilled cheese is you want it right off the pan.
That's what. Yeah, and that's one of those things. I'm making one and someone's eating it right away.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that sitting.
And then you get a second one and you dip it in the soup. Definitely. Yeah. You know what else too? I've had a lot of restaurant versions of Italian wedding soup. Homemade Italian wedding soup that my mom would make, that shit was awesome.
Yeah. And that was just the extra love and time spent in it.
Yeah.
And the low, I mean, because she would
Low and slow,
she would
baby.
wake up and start that shit.
Yeah.
And had the timing of the noodles not being in there too long and getting mushy. You know, and a lot of times what she would do is we'd have like meatballs the day before or something. So
She would take the time to make those meatballs usually too. The little ones.
mm-hmm.
Which is a pain in the ass to make, I imagine.
Meatballs not, you know, it's definitely an extra added step.
All of this has to be kind of made, like talking about our mom cooking, like all these examples have to be understood in the context of our mom didn't love cooking.
No.
So there were some things that she put the time and effort into, and they usually paid off.
You know what? Let me get your opinion on this. Aunt Jeannie, when she does it up right, her lasagna versus a restaurant's lasagna.
It's been a long time since she did it up right.
Because she started putting sugar in the sauce.
Because apparently she can't taste it otherwise.
Maybe.
She used to make a banging lasagna.
Yeah.
Like
70-pound lasagna
just
coming
top
over.
notch. Yeah, which my mom never got down. But hers was like really, really good. And if you asked me right now, would you want your aunt's best shot at lasagna or Giuseppe's or whatever restaurant? I'm going restaurant. Sorry, Aunt Jeannie. You know, it is what it is.
Now, circa 2005 Aunt Jeannie,
yeah,
guaranteed
different
lasagna.
Story. Definitely different story. But
she can throw down in the kitchen. She shows up at 9 o'clock at night when dinner's already over.
Yeah.
But that's why we got husky people in our family.
Yeah, we love leftovers.
Oh man, good leftovers.
You know what else I can never imagine myself ordering at a restaurant, but I love the homemade turkey or turkey breast. We didn't only eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
No, lasagna was one of those meals. Sorry, I'm spitting a lot. Lasagna, I'm salivating. Lasagna was one of those things Aunt Jeannie would bring over.
She'd bring to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But no, I'm saying like, my mom would pop a turkey breast in the oven in June. Didn't matter. And it always, and you know, I'd rather have boxed stuffing, but her stuffing wasn't terrible. I'll tell you what. Green bean casserole, homemade every time.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen green bean casserole on a menu.
I'm sure. It's pretty popular, don't you think?
Yeah, but can you think of a place that you've ever even seen it? Because you would think it's easy to make and you can make a lot of it as a side. Diners should have that, because if that was a side I could get, I would be getting that a lot.
I'm sure it's out there, but it wouldn't be as good as
After this episode, I'm gonna do green bean casserole on DoorDash to see if any restaurants pop up.
If you find a diner around here that has green bean casserole on the menu, we're going. That it probably means it's a pretty good diner.
Yeah. Now, we aren't seafood people, but I could imagine, and people out there, if you're listening, I could imagine seafood being something people like to do at their house more than...
Not a fish, because I think the art of cooking a fish in a restaurant is perfected. But if you're talking about like a clam bake or like I want to do, boiled shrimp or something, you just want to have a ton of it and make it yourself. Like the only way you can mess that up is just to super overboil them. But I imagine like getting a bunch of crabs, Old Baying up the water, tossing them in there, pulling them out fresh and pop. That's probably a homemade thing that you're like, you can't get better than this.
Yeah. Shepherd's pie. You don't see it. It's the thing you can't get a lot of places. And maybe that's the only reason I'm saying that, but shepherd's pie is definitely something.
I'm gonna go with you on this one. However, a restaurant could probably do a shepherd's pie that'll blow your balls off.
It's all about the mashed potatoes. I mean, because, vegetables, as long as you cook them properly, it's going to be how good are the mashed potatoes. How much effort are you putting into those potatoes?
Well, no, because the gravy that the meat's in, that's going to be a big, it's going to take it one way or another. If you make a good, fancy gravy with the meat, to put on top. But I don't know if at a restaurant they would do it the way our mom used to do it and bake a ton of cheese on it too.
Top, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with you on this one.
Damn, now I want diner food. I want to sit down at a diner or like 7 things right now.
I want a patty melt. Or a Monte Cristo. We were talking about that.
Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's because I would never once again order this out, and they are places, a tuna melt.
Yeah, I'm not a tuna guy, but I don't know. I imagine a deli has a banging tuna melt. Well, a tuna melt now.
Yeah, but I'm making the tuna fish.
Right. No, I'm with you on this one. I think you would want to make your own tuna melt.
You want to make your own tuna, and then you want it straight out of the toaster oven. And there is a fine because, like, you know, it's mayo based. You don't want to cook it too much.
I feel like you can definitely mess up tuna. too.
Oh yeah.
But the whole aspect of flash baking it to make it melt, like, you could mess that up easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I at least get the draw of a tuna melt, but not a chicken salad melt. I'm sure it would be, but you just don't do that. You want cold chicken salad, right?
And I do a lot of with the salads, as people probably know. I talk a lot about macaroni salads and things like that. I've tried it all. The only other thing I would say that you would heat up a thing is doing toast with egg salad on it and hot bacon, but you're not cooking the egg salad. Yeah, that kind of cold and hot together work well. That a lot of times don't.
Because I like my eggs hot usually. So at least adding the heat in with there, I could see it.
When Mom would make egg salad, would you eat it? Would you eat?
Yeah, but only hers.
Only hers. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't want to mess with. If you made egg salad, I wouldn't eat it.
Well, it would be Mom's recipe.
I know, but there was always that aspect of she made this and I'm gonna eat it. I mean, maybe if you made it, I'd try it, but
her secret was just a lot of really cooked bacon to crumble that bacon.
Thick cut bacon, and she used a lot of dill, which I like. And anything Mom made always had a ton of onions cut up in it, and yeah.
You know what? That's another one. And this is a tip for, say you're a new wife and you're trying to impress your in-laws. If you just saute peppers and onions, your house is going to smell like you fucking are an awesome cook.
Definitely.
So I'm going to put up there sausage, peppers, and onions.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're picking the sausage you want, because I hate, and I always have, I hate hot sausage. I like a nice sweet Italian sausage, what have you. Yeah, you're distracting me with this.
I know, I'm getting hungry. A pot pie, what about that?
Nah, restaurant. Because it would be perfectly butter and perfectly cooked. Anything that was home cooked that had to do with, like, breading.
Yeah.
It was always a little overcooked. Still good.
Now, what about mac and cheeses? Because we've said this on previous episodes of things like, one, Kraft macaroni and cheese gets the job done perfectly.
I'll say this on the mac and cheese. My mom's mac and cheese, I'd rather have a restaurant. But I've had other people's home-cooked mac and cheese, and it was really, really good.
The thing what she would do again is she would do the double-baked mac and cheese, and it just would overcook. And a lot of times I would tell her, like, look, with the biscuits she would burn, I go, it continues to cook 10, 15 minutes after you pull it out. So like, when you look in the oven, it's like, oh, it's got a nice crispy top. But by the time that thing is cooled down to eat, it's all dried out.
And she would tell me straight up, like, I don't like making this. I'm only making this for you. And I never had, obviously I wasn't going to say, you don't have to make it, you know.
The only thing it was, talking about being a fat little kid, is because when we put leftovers away, one, Mom didn't want to cook. She's working. So a lot of times it would just get put in like a gallon Ziploc bag. And when that mac and cheese would congeal together and in the fridge, and also with stuffing, you could pull out like a brick of stuffing or mac and cheese and just eat cold.
For the record, we didn't have mac and cheese and stuffing in the same meal very often.
No, I'm thinking Thanksgiving on that. But
she made some batches of mac and cheese that were bad enough where you didn't even want to eat the congealed, leftovers. What about? Is there any? I know you're not a big sweet guy, but what about like my mom used to make pineapple upside down cake, which I'm sure would be great at a restaurant, but she nailed that one.
Yeah.
Where I would, the best. I mean, I'm also factoring into this. When it's homemade, you can eat an embarrassing amount of it,
And you get to eat it at home.
Well, yeah, that too. But like, the amount of pineapple upside down cake I want to eat is way more than a restaurant would even consider giving you.
They're going to give you multiple forks to make you feel shitty about yourself.
Exactly. And I want So, pineapple upside down cake.
See, I'm not a big sweets guy, but I've had some people's stuff. My mom wasn't the greatest. She started getting into baking a little bit later. But I've had some people, like this one girl, Jen, who was in our bowling league. She made cupcakes and just desserts. I don't even know what the hell you call them. They were so fucking good. There was like cream cheese filling inside these things that I was like,
I want a cupcake.
I would never know where. I would never order this one.
Baking's tough too. But yeah, you're never gonna get a cupcake at a restaurant.
But not even just a
Unless they
restaurant,
force it on you.
unless I'm at and then when I'm at a bakery, I'm going for they're like, what's your guys' thing?
Yeah. No,
So there's definitely things like that out there that, and her specifically, I'm thinking that girl Jen can get down on baking.
The best brownie I ever had was a homemade one. It wasn't my mom, but like my one ex could cook. She could cook.
I never got to had it, and I've never heard of it since or before then. Steak fingers? Did she call them steak fritters? Breaded steak or something?
That's like a country fried steak?
No, she made them, and I remember you saying because Layla was trying to eat a bunch of them, and I think you called them steak fingers or something. It was, I think, just breaded steak.
Well, that would be awesome, and literally anything she made was good. So, but her home run that I don't know if I had ever had it at a restaurant or would think to order it was chicken and dumplings. I mean, unbelievable. And she would do a homemade, she would do a cheesecake for my birthday. And, yeah, it was really good. It wasn't it was the one where you bake it. There's cheesecake.
There's the non-bake where it's just a filling.
non-bake.
Which I ain't hating. That shit gets the job done.
No,
really
it definitely does. When I'm really feeling frisky, I'll go to the grocery store and get one of those Sara Lee cheesecakes in the frozen food section, and I'll just eat it with a spoon in 2-3 sittings. What are some other great homemade foods you've had?
Rachel, well, your dad being Indonesian has he's got a whole list of things. Like that lemon rice he makes. I've never had a restaurant that does anything close to that. Dang dang. Ding dang, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just he marinates thinly cut steak in Indonesian seasonings for 3 days, and then it flash grills. But in Indonesia, that's hard because people aren't going to...
we have no restaurant comparison.
Yeah, that's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
Does your mom have any specialties?
Tuna casserole.
I was just going to say tuna.
I would not eat restaurant tuna casserole.
There you go.
But I would eat 80 pounds of my mom's tuna casserole.
I would say, for the record, fuck tuna casserole. But I'm sure it was good.
It's closer to a mac and cheese, I think.
Yeah, you barely can tell. Honestly, you would...
Choose the shells?
She
changes the noodle
changes it up a lot of times.
Bow
it's
tie's my favorite. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to love tuna casserole. I used to eat a lot of tuna when I was younger.
I would pick all the tuna out when I was little.
Then I found out it's mostly dolphins, and I don't eat that shit.
Hey, dolphins are good.
Sloppy Joe's is a good one.
I was just going to say that, but also, if I went out, I don't care who it was, and they ordered a Sloppy Joe at a restaurant, I'd be like...
It'd probably be really, really good, though.
Yeah. It would have to be short braised brisket Sloppy Joe. It couldn't just be called...
Well, that's why I'm saying give me the homemade version, because it's just manwich, and it's good.
Well, there's a bunch of soups that I think just because Mom was a soup person. I'll tell you what. Now I can't give it to you, but when Rachel does our unhealthy version, Rachel's gotten pretty good at making chicken parm.
Yeah,
I can't give it to you that you're beating restaurants because like you're never gonna be able to beat Di Lorenzo's. I'm sorry, but you're up there, so that's a pat on the back for you.
No, it is good. I've had it. I had the most recent version was a different breading. I don't know what it was. It was store bought the last time, like breaded. When you make it, it's better, but they're both good.
And then all the nice caveat you get to throw in there is you usually get it served with angel hair or a red pasta at a restaurant. I get to get an Alfredo sauce pasta.
It's good to have some white sauce with some red sauce.
Yeah, to mix that up. I would say when he would do it well, a pork rib. If you do it and you don't fuck it up, Dad has done some really good pork ribs.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things where it's like you could see a restaurant doing that too, like try to get too fancy with it. And again, if they're good and you make them, you can eat way more than a restaurant's going to give you unless you pay $100. So that's
a lot of it. Yeah, I mean the price of shit nowadays. Don't know how to cook.
What about other people in your life? Did you have any homemade stuff in other families that was like?
The only thing the Russells, she would do bacon wrapped scallops, but I wasn't a big enough seafood eater to like compared to restaurants. I never would have gotten that out.
Yeah.
The Carnies, Kim could throw down. They would do every once in a while would do a really good not a brisket, a roast beef, I guess. But slow cook it really, really, really. What's the thing that you get? They always have at buffets that the guy cuts. Is that prime rib? They would get like a meat store prime rib, and do it really well.
Okay. Homemade. If you're gonna do hot turkey or hot roast beef sandwiches, I want to do it at home. You know, it's too hit or miss.
Yeah.
Who knows how they're gonna do it?
Yeah, because at a restaurant, it's very possible that it's literally just a straight up jarred gravy, no seasoning added to it or anything.
With a pot roast, if I have to eat it, I want it at a restaurant. It'll probably be really good.
Rachel's mom's brisket that she does on Easter is very good. Okay. Once again, I don't think I'd order just straight brisket out.
I would never get brisket at a restaurant. No.
The cheesy vegetables, that's just it's just so much cheese and fucking. It's cheesy, yummy casserole.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
And she's got like a special dish that is designed to hold this amount of cheese at a certain height.
It's funny.
I know, when we made it, I had to put it in like 2 bread containers to try to get it to fit.
I'm trying to think. Like, apparently I didn't have a lot of friends' parents who cooked.
Wouldn't like Frankie? They didn't?
No, because his dad worked at a restaurant. He would always just bring food home. Plus, they were one of those families, like, they didn't eat a sit-down dinner, even though they were Italian as shit.
Chili's.
Nope.
No?
I love my mom's chili. I love homemade chili, but I've had a lot of restaurant chili.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
And it's because, I guess, because you can do a week's worth of chili at a restaurant. Like,
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? And really do it up right.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the things, like, smaller restaurants. They do like Monday. They make their chili for the week, and the longer it sits, the better it gets.
Yeah, definitely. But I love chili so much that like it's really hard to give me a chili I'm gonna dislike. But yeah, I can think of simple things like hot dogs. I like to make my own hot dogs.
I was just hot dog on the fire, dude.
Yeah,
when we went camping, dude, we ate a lot of hot dog just straight off a stick, and I was pissed when we had a fire on vacation and I didn't have dogs to eat. I was mad at myself I didn't pick up dogs, dude.
Yeah. And they're so quick, cook in 5 minutes.
Aunt Alice used to make
stuffed cabbage
that was fucking good.
And Mom used to make that cabbage soup with ham and stuff. That was really good. Soups are really like, because of the mom factor, she used to make us a ton of soups.
The only soup, there's only a couple. Like the only soup that I would say a restaurant over homemade I want would be French onion, because they just have the crock and put a shit ton of cheese on there.
It's a really hard thing to do. Rachel made a pretty good one the other day.
Yeah.
And the tortellini soup my mom used to make, I'm good on that. I don't want that.
Once again, this is going to be something that you don't get at a restaurant, but she called it chicken a la king, which is a very simple.
Chicken casserole, chicken casserole.
Yeah, it's just creamy chicken soup on top of rice, but sometimes that would hit because that was a quick meal.
Oh, definitely. You could do a lot with cream of mushroom soup.
There's a whole episode there that will be coming on basically how to survive for cheap. Hitch, where we at on time? That's because I'm getting fucking hungry.
35 minutes.
Yeah.
To shout out to jambalaya. My mom made a great jambalaya that I would probably never get in a restaurant. I'm sure it'd be good at a restaurant, but and the kielbasa.
I'm not a big kielbasa fan, but if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it at home.
I'm not ordering it.
The thing that she would always do, and I get it, she's working mom, keeping an awesome house for us.
Crock pot.
But she crock potted it, but you gotta fry up the I keep blanking on this fucking word. What's
sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut. You can't just then it's just wet. Like you gotta for me to want some sauerkraut, you gotta put it on a pan and just get fried a little bit, get some of the moisture out of it.
I don't know how that stuck around in the human culinary world. That shit.
I do like it when it's
terrible.
I love sauerkraut.
Just boiled up.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer it less cooked because it's healthier.
Wow. Like, I guess it's just me.
A
beef stew. My mom made a great beef stew when she really put the time in, and I would never get that at a restaurant.
Spiral ham, which basically is easy to do because it's expensive to buy one of those spiral hams.
It's like pre-cooked, but almost.
Yeah. But mom would put the clove in there with the pineapple and the cherry. It would. Great sandwiches afterwards. Another great fucking leftover sandwich.
Yeah. As this episode has unfolded, I've realized that 90% of the reason I would ever pick homemade over restaurant is because of the leftover and gorging factor.
Yeah, nothing's. Well, I'll never get back.
We didn't have cooks in our family that were so good that like.
And we didn't sit down to eat ever, like together as a family. Yeah. We all would dinner's done, but I was just gonna say I'll never be able to recreate the feeling of dinner's done from the top of the stairs and going up and making an absurd plate, and then going down to the dungeon with a fucking soda pop, cold ass
for a foosball game or something.
Yeah. Oh man.
And also smelling it cook all day when you knew she was making something that she was good at.
You know, I was gonna say there's a lot of dips and stuff that you don't get buffalo chicken dip at a restaurant.
You're not, like appetizer dips. Rarely you can ever get that at a restaurant.
Yeah.
We need to do taco dip. I've been thinking about taco dip since the last episode.
Taco dip. All those pigs in a blanket, hanky pankies, which
I've never seen ever anywhere but in our family.
Yeah, specialty. And I will not. I'll die with that recipe. Only a few people know it. And then pierogies, but
nah, dude, restaurant pierogies would be exquisite.
Have you ever ordered them?
Yeah,
I've ordered them at baseball games.
That's what I was gonna say, like concession type shit. And yeah, they did it at a restaurant, like sautéed with onions and all that. It would be really good as well.
That's just once again one of those things up there with spaghetti. I will never order that out because I can do it just as good as at home. Maybe not as good, but
only at home can I put
pound of butter,
12 dollops of sour cream on my pierogies. You know they're gonna skimp you on the sour cream.
But do you rather the boiled pierogi or the fried pierogi?
Boiled works every time, and if it's fried, it has to be not over fried.
Yeah.
So I probably at a restaurant they're probably not gonna have boiled pierogies.
You get to put the onion in there when you fry it too.
Yeah.
So that's the added.
Yeah.
But well, hey guys, if you're not fucking hungry now, give us some of yours.
Some recipes, some easy stuff, not hard stuff. Send us. The
I feel bad because like if I have, I'm sure I have friends, parents, because I spend a lot of time at friends' house that I'm forgetting stuff that I
couldn't have been that good.
Yeah, but it's been a while. It's been 12 years since I lived, back in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah, send us your homemade, your favorite. Something you made or your mom made that always delivered.
Nate, I know sometimes you listen. He's a good cook. Oh, dude. Nate, he's moving back to Pittsburgh, bro. He did these fucking tacos when he came here one time. He had 3 different types of meat, and we'll help pay for it this time. Dude threw down, bro. He brined the pork. I was eating these leftovers that I'm pretty sure were going bad because he made so much and no one ate.
That's the extra effort, man.
Dude, it was so. I was eating. I think the pork went bad. And I was like, I'm risking. I'm eating around it, dude.
Just like you wait.
Nate, come in and make fucking my brother your tacos, dude. He'll be forever in.
We're buddies, man.
Gratitude for you.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. Everyone go
Birds.
If your mom cooked for you growing up, go say thank you. I love you for cooking for me. It's not easy to do for a family that's ungrateful all the time. But yeah, go Birds, go FatFest. I've been Gene Labordi, Stephen Labordi. Anyone in the area, also fishing spots and good diners around here. Thank you. Bye.